Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I am your host, Josh, and with me are my two co-hosts here. And we got a great show for you people today. Going to be discussing Jackass Forever. Going to be also doing our episode 5 and 6 review of Peacemaker. So we're going to be doing that. We didn't get to that last week, episode 5 of Peacemaker, because something happened with my computer. Something messed up with that, so I had to go take it in, get it fixed. And then we're also going to be discussing... my voice is in the background. Shut the fuck up. So we're also going to be discussing Book of Boba Fett, episode 6. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much that's what's going on there. Tamir Morrison did say, well, he does think Boba Fett should talk less. So he did say that. So
he got his wish.
I guess Kathleen Kennedy just said, "All right, bet."
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I was like, hey, if you don't want to talk that much, we'll just give your dialogue to other people. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just just not even do the story.
I'm being honest. I'm happy about that. It's been a better show.
Yep.
Yeah. I've actually liked these 2 episodes more. Than I have any of the other 4.
No.
Yeah.
So we're going to be getting into that. Also, we're discussing a little bit of news. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a requel, I guess, as you would say, of the franchise.
Yes. It is a repeatquel to the original, which has already gotten 3 reboots, 2 remakes, and a
iterations. Yeah. And a prequel that was based on the new version that they did during the mid-2000s that had nothing to do with the original series, but they also wanted to tie that with the original series.
Yeah, it was I think they explained Leatherface. It was a prequel to the 1974 original film.
Right.
Yeah.
Within the Texas Chainsaw 3D timeline.
Right, exactly. Which is why it didn't do well.
Yeah.
Which is why this franchise has officially broken my brain.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So we're going to be getting into that. Has a little bit of a Halloween 2018 vibe from it, so we're going to be getting into that and discussing why with that.
Also, you said vibe. I think you meant to say ripoff.
Well, yeah. I was trying to be generous, trying to be a little bit generous, but yeah, pretty much.
He's a fair man, Nick. He's trying to be a fair man.
Yeah.
I'm not. I choose violence.
What's going to be this Halo trailer? That trailer came out. Paramount Plus has their first, I guess, big signature show. That's another streaming platform. When you look at other streaming platforms, they got a show that kind of defines, Netflix has Stranger Things. You also have HBO Max.
Disney Plus had the Mandalorian. HBO Max. They've had a lot of stuff. Now it's kind of
Euphoria,
I guess, the flagship for HBO.
Yeah, they have a lot of different. HBO has a lot of different flagship shows. A new big show everybody talks about now with HBO is Euphoria. So the Paramount Plus, you need your big signature show that you're known by. Apple Plus even has Ted Lasso. Even that has Ted Lasso. So
yeah, and that Mark Wahlberg movie they put out last year wasn't bringing anybody to Paramount Plus.
What movie was that?
I think it was called Infinite or something.
It was Infinite, yeah. And the only reason I know about it is because it made some people's worst of last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's what's going on with this timeline, huh? Say hi to your mom for me, time traveler.
Bam, bam.
Bam.
Okay. I'm gonna be Sylvan now.
Infinite. I have no idea what that is.
I'm gonna be Sully in the Uncharted movie.
Oh,
I got a mustache. See, that makes me Sully.
Oh yeah.
I got a mustache and I'm hanging out with Tom Holland.
That Uncharted movie. I gotta watch that too. I gotta book a ticket for that. That comes out in a couple weeks too. I gotta go watch that.
I'm almost begging you not to.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah,
there's clips online, and it actually looks kind of cool.
There are everything that's cool that it looks like. You can go and buy the collection and play it.
Yeah,
it's literally all 4 games smashed, all the best scenes smashed together.
I don't understand why this, because out of all the games you could adapt, Uncharted is one of the easiest ones because it's just basically Indiana Jones. I don't know how you fuck up Indiana Jones. Even Jungle Cruise could do basic Indiana Jones. Even they can do it. So I don't know.
Josh, I think you forget the batting average of Sony. Sony's batting average is always 50-50, occasionally 60-40 on the opposite end.
That's very true.
Sometimes they'll hit a real ringer.
I think you're being very generous. It's probably more like 30-70.
You know what? I am because I kind of like Sony, but you're right. I am being a little generous. It is closer to 30-70. I was giving a little bit of the doubt and saying 60-40.
Maybe 80-20.
Yeah. Actually,
yeah.
That's another piece of news we're also going to discuss. Sony acquired Bungie as well, so for $3 billion. So we're going to be discussing that.
Change apparently.
Yeah. So we're going to be getting into. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just chilling now.
Nice. Dusk, what about you?
Getting ready for a fitness test next week.
Okay, nice. So what are you doing? Training like Rocky? What are you doing? You chasing chickens? What's happening?
No, I have to prove. To my job that I can meet the minimum standards of their expectations for this future job, and if I do so, I get it, which means a huge pay bump and a secret clearance.
What's the minimum standards?
There is no minimum standard. You just want to make sure that you fit within the perimeters. There's just there's no minimum score, but it's don't be poor. That's basically all they ask. But that's never stopped some people. Some people have made it even without it. But I don't just want to come into this poor, because because the next step, if I pass that, is I go on a 2.5 month training, and it's like 4 times a week. And they just don't want to put someone through something when they know they can't do it.
Okay. All right. So you think you
get?
But
I work out. I work out 4 times a week, anyways.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Whatever.
Nice. So you think so you're gonna crush it? You got it.
I've got it. I think I have it. I can. I've gotten to the point where I think I can do at least good across the board. Not great, just solid.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, yeah, we're rooting for you, man. As always. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
As always, yeah. So yeah.
It should also free up my schedule a lot. So I'll be able to do this a bit more. So no matter where I am.
Okay, so you could maybe come on Saturdays?
Yeah, depending on the schedule, depending on it, I might lock me off on some days, but it would keep me a lot more regular depending on what days I am, what flights I'll be on, or what things that they might send me off to go. I might be in the office at one point, and they might send me off to watch something else or head out somewhere else, and possibly domestically or internationally.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, I'd love to have you around more. I could do some. Nick, you're muted there.
Oh yeah, that sounds cool, dude.
Yeah. And then we could maybe do some more video game streams. Like
absolutely.
Their stuff. Could do that. So yeah, that'd be awesome to have you around more. Everything like that. And video game wise, I know that video game Sifu's coming out this upcoming week. So I'm going to be playing that stream. That looks like a great game. Nice. I hope it's really good.
It looks at least fun, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, so if I'm going to complete, I made a resolution. I'm like, I keep buying video games and not completing them. So I am going to try to complete Sifu, as well as another video game I started as well. What was that video game? Resident Evil and Fallen Order. I'm going to try to do all those.
We'll get you. Don't worry. Okay. I'll get you there. We'll get you there.
Yeah. So we're going to try doing that. Yeah, so sorry about the late show. I just was out. Went to do some mini golf. This is a nice, cool place where it's like indoor mini golf, where it's all like the ball is registered with you, and you do it like inside the course, and your name comes up on the screen, and it's all like all kind of digital and everything.
That's neat.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is really neat.
Yeah.
So what's her name?
Yeah, well, it was. I didn't go there by myself. It was. I went there on a date. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, on a date.
Good for you, man.
Dude,
good for you. For real. Good for you.
So yeah, it was a nice place. It was a bar and it was a food place there too. So if you ever want to check it out, it's called Putt Shack. It's in Oak Brook there, Illinois. So it was kind of far from me. When I booked the place, I didn't realize how far it was. I was like, damn, okay, fuck, it's pretty far. But but I saw the movie. I saw Jackass Forever. Then I went over to the putt place, and it was nice. Yeah, it was a cool place. I recommend checking it out. Yeah, if you've
Hopefully, the movie didn't influence your behavior in the fucking golf course.
Oh no,
geez.
no. I mean, if yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, because when I was watching the movie, I didn't whip my dick out, nothing like that. I didn't dance around. You know what I mean? I didn't try to swallow the golf ball or put it in my ass. So, nothing like that happened. But I mean, here we go. We're going to be discussing Jackass Forever. This is a movie. It is the fourth Jackass film. They're still, some of them, a lot of them are still alive. I mean, rest in power to Ryan Dunn, who they do give a special tribute to him at the end of this. But yeah, they're still around.
He died in 2011, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Car crash, if I remember.
Yeah, it was a car crash. And also Bam Margera, he's another person missing. He's not passed away, but just he wasn't available here because
there were conditions he had to stay sober, submit to random drug testing, and he didn't agree to do it.
Yeah. And so they were like, we just don't think you're in the best position to be a part of this right now, you know what I mean, given your state. And
to be fair, they were pretty amicable about it, so it wasn't like oh man, screw you. It's like, okay, all right, man, all right, okay.
Yeah, so there was so he's not involved here, but all the rest of the crew is back, including some new members here, like Jasper, who I remember Jasper. He was a part of the Lorder Squad, which is with Tyler Creator. It was Black Ass. It was Black Jackass. You know what I mean? It's a show that came on Adult Swim. It came way back in like 2012. So almost like 10 years ago that show came out. And they did the same. It was kind of the same concept as Jackass. It was like they did skits. They did funny stunts, things like that. And they had some funny skits on there. I remember the one they did with Earl Sweatshirt, which was the Scared Straight one, which was pretty funny. You can go look that one up. I remember one they did with Tyler the Creator, where they talked about like talking to women in the workplace. And Tyler the Creator says, this woman don't want you, you dusty ass nigga. I remember that one. That one was a really good one. That was really good. So so that's basically what they did, the Lordy Squad. So Jasper's here. Hey, it's 2022, 21st century Jackass. So they got, more, gender equality. They got a woman in here now who, hey, women can just be just as stupid as men. That's great. You know what I mean? Equality. You got even a British guy who's here. So, hey, no matter your nationality, your creed, your gender, anybody could be a dumbass. So that's fantastic. You got to love that. You know what I mean? Anybody can be a jackass. So you got to love that here. So they're kind of, the new kind of members of the crew, along with a guy named Poopies. And also a guy named Zach. And it's funny, you can see like each person's replacement, you know what I mean? Because like the Zach guy, he's the new fat guy. He's kind of like, Preston Lacey was the old fat guy. Now you got like a new fat guy coming in here. And, like you said, this is, this crew now, Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Wee Man. These are all guys now who are in their 50s, pretty much. And they're, they're much, much older. And they talk about, hey, this is kind of like, they're saying it even in the movie. It's kind of like, hey, we paid our dues. Now it's time to pass the torch to you. You get to be, you know what I mean? You get to go ahead and do this crazy shit like we used to do, and kind of take it away. And with the Jackass movies, I've seen all of them. And, the range of emotions I go through with all of them go from disgust to laughing to just wincing in pain. And I go through all those gamut emotions with this new one, because there's moments where I gotta admit it tested a little bit my gag reflexes, because there's one.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing in every single Jackass. I think in the third one there were like gags or stunts where I had to step outside the theater for a second. I could just feel myself dry heaving. It was like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Because there's one moment that really got me when they were like, okay, so they concentrated, they put all this pig semen in a jar, and they were like, okay, so we're for this prank, we're gonna make people, we're gonna give them an interview, and then as water, we're gonna make them think it's water, but we're gonna give them pig semen, and then Chris Pontius, who's the dude that loves to take his dick out. He loves to, swing his dick around, everything like that. And the movie opens up with a great opening sketch, by the way. He's just like, oh, this is pig semen, right? And they're like, yeah. And he just takes a big gulp of it. He's like, oh, okay, and then just drinks it. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, like, oh my God. And yeah, I mean, there's lots of moments like that I just absolutely feel disgust. But there's a lot of good pranks here, a lot of good stunts. I think Jackass also is just, to me, funny when it's like simple stuff too. Is like really gets you, like not even the big extravagant stunts, but really the simple ones. Like I remember the one, I think it was in Jackass 3, where they did like the high five one, where they just had people just go.
Oh, that's an all-time great stunt.
Yeah, and then it's such a simple one. They just had a big rubber hand, and somebody was walking into the office. They went like, "Hey man, high five," and they're like, "Oh, high five," and then it just slaps. The hand comes. Like that was a really great one. Dusk, what were kind of your feelings about this movie?
On the one hand, I applaud them at their age for just getting out there, still doing this crazy crap, and still really enjoying themselves in it. On the other hand, there's also like a twinge of sadness when you watch them. You're like, damn, they're old.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm old. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, keep at it, boys, I guess.
Yeah,
if you want to do that.
Yeah, I think watching these movies now, it's kind of a weird thing because for our generation, we kind of grew up with Jackass. Think we were like still around when it first premiered on MTV and all of the movies were coming out in theaters. I think I saw 3D when I was in high school at my senior year, and it's kind of like this huge like goodbye to a generation thing.
And then on the best moments, you would go to your local video store, maybe a year after the movie came out in theaters, and then nobody would tell you. They'd be like, "Hey, there's Jackass 2.5. It's not rented out. Dude, let's see if it's still available." And then you go out and you're like, "Oh shit, there's 1.5 and 2.5. We gotta rent them." And then you just make a night of it. And then with 3.5, you're like, "Oh shit, I wonder what they cut out of this one." And that would be a thing too. Some people would just take it over the weekend. They'd be like, "Oh shit," and that was uncut. All the cut stuff that they couldn't show in theaters.
Yeah, all of the gross shit that they had to leave out of the theatrical cut.
Yeah. And I don't want to spoil, all the good stuff they kind of do here. I will mention one that's in the trailer, like that had me really wincing. Was the one where
the bear.
No, not that one, but it was the one with Aaron, because Aaron throughout this whole movie, I mean, he's like a human pincushion. I mean, he's like just a human, but just punching bag, because they constantly just fuck with him and do all types of stuff with him. And then one where they do a
is he the one that gets punched in the dick by Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, him one. And then you think like, okay, that's it, but then they do like a whole 3-part test of him getting hit in the nuts, because they do one where he gets hit with Francis Ngannou, who's one of the hardest hitting heavyweights in the entire UFC.
Yeah, who's the UFC heavyweight champion, and on record, I think is the hardest puncher in the world.
Yeah, and then they do one where they go to the softball pitcher, where she drills him in the nuts. She's a professional softball pitcher. And then they do another one when they go to a hockey player, and then they do a professional hockey player where he pucks him in the nuts. It's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then to top it all off at the end, they do one where one of them pogo sticks on his nuts with the thing. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, my God. I mean, it's like, that's just like, ugh, geez, you just couldn't pay me enough to do that. And, you watch these movies and you think like, hey, this is so fun. These guys, they seem like they love being around each other. They love having fun. They love doing this stuff. But then it comes to doing shit like that, and you go like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I'm perfectly fine. I don't want to get hit in the nuts. I don't want to drink pig semen. I can live the rest of my life not knowing how pig semen tastes. I'm perfectly fine. Don't need to have that experience. So yeah, but it is a lot of fun, and if you've watched these other previous movies, which all are available on Paramount Plus, you can watch all the other Jackass movies there too. I think you will go from kind of having those gambit of emotions if this is your thing. I mean, if this is your thing or not. I mean, by the fourth one, I mean, you know if this is your thing or not. And there were people, again, said laughing, wincing. I was in the theater with people. They were doing the same thing, laughing at those moments, wincing at those moments, just being disgusted by those other moments. And it's a good time to really watch. And a lot of and then seeing, like you said, these guys now they're older. Johnny Knoxville, who he's got the gray hair now. He's rocking that look. It's kind of jarring a little bit because it cuts back and forth because he dyes it at one moment where it looks jet black, but then it's straight gray in other moments, but he's just rocking the full gray now. It's funny, a lot of people call him, say he looks like Jamie Lee Curtis. That's funny. I see a lot of comments about that. They say he looks like that. But yeah, I mean, and then like the bull hit he took, yeah, I mean, he actually suffered serious damage. You know what I mean? Like he lost a lot of brain function from taking that hit. And yeah, it's just like, man, yeah, it's just kind of what these guys put their bodies through, what they do, and then seeing also the newer guys come in like Poopies, like Zach, like Jasper, like Rachel, Winston, I think is her name, or Winfinson, I believe it's her name, coming in. She gets involved too because she does a lot of crazy stuff too, where she like puts her tongue on a taser. And the whole game is like not to make a sound. They're mimes, and she puts her tongue on a taser, and then there's one moment she does this with a scorpion, which is pretty nice. And she's right there, with the crew. When Chris Pontius, he's taking his dick out, weapon around. Maybe Louis C.K. can learn a couple lessons from this, about consent as far as doing that. But yeah, and then. There's one thing that Chris Pontius does with his dick that is just, it looks so painful. It's unbelievable. It's like, oh my God, this looks terrifying. But yeah, I had a great time watching it, especially staying after the movie, going through the credits, looking at all the bloopers and all the extra stuff they did, which was a lot of fun. Dusk, what were kind of your thoughts there?
I think if this is your thing and you kind of want a glory to go back to the Jackass movies that you enjoyed, I think despite all odds, I think you will probably enjoy this. There is, for me, a little bit of sadness and a little, oh God, you guys are still doing this kind of thing. But despite all odds, they put a lot of energy into it. You kind of, after a little while, you kind of forget about it, even though they are older. And if this is your thing, I think you will enjoy it. I will preference that. If you enjoyed Jackass back in the day, you'll most likely enjoy this. And they put on the record, they've said they have enough material left over to make like 2 more movies just from all the crap they did for this one.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, they said
God
expect a 4.5 or 4.75 of
Oh.
all the crap that
Holy
they still have
shit.
apparently. Yeah, they've already confirmed that 4.5 is happening. So,
oh, nice. Oh,
yeah,
man.
they not just that, and that there were cameos they couldn't include in the theatrical, or stuff that were cut that will be included in 0.5 just because they have so much left over.
Yeah.
So, hey, you want more Jackass stuff? It's coming soon. As for me, I thought it was fine. The heydays I think are over. For me, it did get me a little melancholic over times, but I mean half the time I was just going like, Jesus Christ. Something that I'd be like, you know what, you earned the ticket. All right, man. God bless you. Good luck with that brain aneurysm.
Yeah. Yeah, and this also with this movie, it is kind of like a legacy sequel. Kind of like what Scream did, where it's like, let's recall, because they do a lot of even gags from the very first Jackass movie. And Johnny Knoxville comes out, like, yeah, it was 20 years ago that I did this cup test. Now 20 years later, hey, well, we're gonna do it again. 20th anniversary, 20-year anniversary of the cup test. Let's do it. So, and then they show you all the skits they kind of redid from the past, before. And I thought that was kind of really cool. You know what I mean? I thought that was kind of awesome there. And yeah, a lot of these guys, having a lot of fun, enjoying themselves. Very funny content. You do get some celebrity cameos in here, like you have, had before in the other Jackass movies. Like you saw, like MGK, he was here in the trailer. I guess they must have said there was like a 16-year-old girl on set or something like that. And so he kind of comes on there. And then there's like some other few ones that I don't want to ruin, but there's other kind of cameos that kind of come in there too. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this a lot. I give it a very high tune in. Very, very, very high tune in for me. All right. So moving on from discussing Jackass Forever, we're going to be getting into the Book of Boba Fett, episode 6. So with this Book of Boba Fett, episode 6, we're going to be talking about so a lot of basically it was just a lot of, if you've been following the shows, the movies, the cartoon, everything like that, it just was all of this in one episode where you had all these kind of characters in here. You had Ahsoka Tano in here. You had Luke Skywalker. You had baby Yoda come back, Grogu. You had a character who got first introduced in Clone Wars, who was also in, I think, wasn't he also in Rebels too?
Yes, he was in Rebels and Bad Batch.
Yeah, and Cad Bane.
The bounty hunter's name, by the way, is Cad Bane.
Yeah, so you had kind of that character, which makes sense because Dave Filoni, he created Ahsoka Tano. He created, in the Clone Wars with Cad Bane, so he was kind of responsible for creating those two characters. So it only makes sense that those characters also show up in live action now that he's taken over something like the Book of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian. There, it kind of only makes sense. And with this kind of episode opening up, with Timothy Olyphant, who is a newer character that they introduced in the Mandalorian. Hey, what's going on there, Kristen? Hey, how you feeling? Glad you could make it. Hey, glad you could make it. And Timothy Olyphant in this show, when he comes back, he got first introduced in the Mandalorian. It's basically Raylan Givens in space. That's what it is. I mean, that's basically.
And I have zero problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. If you ever watched Justified or even saw him in Deadwood, it's basically the same thing he's doing here, and that's playing a swaggering, cowboy marshal guy like Timothy Olyphant has done for the majority of his career, and he does it very well. And hey, looks very distinguished. He's got the gray hair, he's rocking that, and just he's got that down, and it just reminds you of Star Wars being how much it is inspired by Westerns, along with other things like samurai films and other things. But yeah, very much also like a Western. And you even have like a big showdown between him and between Cad Bane, which I thought was really nice. But you kind of see him. Do you all think he's dead, by the way, or was he just injured?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not dead. The deputy, on the other hand,
the deputy guy,
they killed the fuck out of that dude.
Yeah, they definitely made sure he was dead because he shot him like multiple times. You know what I mean?
He shot him
3 or
like
4 times.
He emptied the fucking magazine on that poor kid.
Yeah, and which I mean, he was kind of annoying. I will kind of say that. You know what I mean? Like
he's young. He was trying to be a deputy. He was following the rules.
Clearly didn't know who he was fucking with.
Yeah, a lot of time he's young. He doesn't have he didn't have the gut instinct to go. There's a time for talk and there's a time to be quiet. Now is the time to be quiet.
Yeah. And then even, like Timothy Olyphant was kind of just looking at him like, what the fuck? I just told you to go back.
Did.
Dumbass.
He did. That when he looked at it once, there should have been like all right, okay.
Yeah, he's just like, just go back inside. I'm dealing with this. I'm talking with this guy. Just go back inside. But no, he just had to come out and just add his 2 cents to everything. And it's like, come on, man, But I thought that was like really an awesome kind of showdown between, and yeah, it's like old West stuff you see in Westerns. But yeah, I mean, to see kind of, that kind of, these two characters facing off, I thought was pretty good. What did you kind of guys think about that and think about Timothy Olyphant's character coming back?
I'm a huge fan of that guy. I think Timothy Olyphant is an actor with all of the charisma in the fucking world, and every time I see him in something, he always adds an element of fun to it, especially when he is playing that martial character that he's so beloved for, and when he gets to play against type in something like Santa Clarita Diet. I think he's one of the best actors working. Don't get me wrong, I liked everything about this and the previous episode. But why, God, why is it in the book of Boba Fett?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, because
And
he's
you'd have the title character of your show not show up at all in like in the latter half of his series.
yeah, he wasn't in the last episode, episode
Nope,
5, and he's in what 2 minutes of this episode, maybe.
not even that.
Showing up at the very end. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of I guess it goes back to what the original trilogy of Boba Fett was for just being an interesting character you see in the background for 10 minutes, and not
Mhm.
only having a few lines of dialogue. I guess that's staying true to what Boba Fett was in the original trilogy. But yeah, I just think that that's a very weird decision to do. It's not like he's going around personally recruiting these people. That's what it seems like. Like he has his crew that he did with the Scooby Doo gang. The teenagers there that he got. But Mandalorian went in to go to ask Timothy Olyphant's character for help. As far as gathering an army to help fight, you know what I mean, the invaded the forces there. Um, and things like that. So, I mean, like Nick said, it's interesting to set up that the Mandalorian has all these other different characters in his world that are interesting, like Timothy Olyphant. Even though I don't like that character, Amy Sedaris, like her mechanic character, it's like okay, but it's a character unique to the Mandalorian and his rogues gallery of supporting cast. I'm surprised Carl Weathers didn't make an appearance. I'm surprised he also didn't go to him as well. So it just adds. It's like Boba Fett. Even Fennec. I mean, like Mandalorian. She got first introduced in the Mandalorian, so. So it's like okay, that feels like more of like a Mandalorian supporting character, even though she's with Boba Fett now. Yeah, and it just kind of feels like it's like his show is kind of getting taken over. With all these kind of different people in this episode, do you think it was too much of, kind of the piece of candy type Easter egg thing, where you have Luke, you have Ahsoka Tano, you kind of have that throughout this episode?
It's not something that bothers me because I like all those characters. I like where those stories are going. I like the portrayal. Even the CG on the younger DH Mark Hamill, it's like drastically better than it was in the finale of Mandalorian.
Hmm.
But they are kind of doing like this bait and switch where they're selling us a Boba Fett show, and the best parts about it are backdoor and pilots for season 3 of Mando.
Hmm. Yeah. Dusk.
So I could not agree anymore with Nick on this, where the Book of Boba Fett to me has shown to me completely that it is a failure of a show.
Mhm.
It does not fulfill the promise of the show. Even by EU standards way back when, removing it just as a show in itself, the best everyone is raving against the last 2 episodes. They have nothing to do with Boba Fett. They have everything to do with the Mandalorian. The more everything outside of it really just doesn't gel at all. And Boba Fett has nothing to do, even though he's the quote unquote character of the story. When for anyone, I honestly could say, hey, so far, well, what would you say about the Book of Boba Fett? Start with episode 5 and then just don't bother before. Start with episode 5. Oh, so like Boba Fett's gonna be like this bounty hunt, gonna be like a Western bounty hunter. Yeah, absolutely. Wait, is like Timmy Oliphant just the main character of the show? The show? Yep, he's the main character of the show, and he's just a sheriff in Tatooine trying to keep the peace after the Empire fell. And then trouble comes along the way with the spice traders, and so he has to take the mantle as the new Hutt, and he gets involved in situations he didn't want to get into, and he was a former slave. There, you have a whole better series for a character that fits this whole storyline than Boba Fett does. The whole problem is just this whole setup is just didn't even have to be here. It literally just could have been a side story or a spin-off with Timothy Olyphant's character, and they could have fit it pretty decently well into the EU anyways. and just focused on Tatooine while Mando is doing otherwise. And you could have Boba Fett doing something completely different if you really wanted to. Honestly, it would have been just fine, and you could have still kept the lore of Boba Fett intact and introduced this new character in The Mandalorian and just have him now tie in with the mythos of the show. As it is, it feels like a hodgepodge of Mandalorian ideas, a hodgepodge of a retcon story for a character that has done nothing. Like, Boba Fett's done nothing. He's the least interesting part of his own show.
It feels like this entire reason the show exists is because, well, Lucasfilm and Disney Plus, they have this like release schedule. They had it set already that okay, December after Mandalorian, we have to have something Star Wars related.
Right.
We already have a lot of the assets from season 2 left over with Tamira Morrison on contract. So why not just do like a couple episodes with Boba Fett, and then we'll basically fill in the rest of the season with Mandalorian backdoor pilot ideas.
Right. That's what it feels. And I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna be positive here. This is the only positive I'll give. I think in these last 2 episodes, they really nail. These last 2 have really felt to me more Star Wars than these previous episodes. They felt. I love the costume design. I didn't know how much I missed the Mandalorian Jin's armor until I saw him again, and I'm like, God damn, dude! I just want your body frame and just someone else's voice and be Boba Fett. Just paint that different, make it a little bit more dinged up, and just have that be talk less and just be a badass bounty hunter going out and taking names.
Well, I think the entire reason for a Boba Fett show it's kind of null and void because everything that an aspiring writer would want to do with Boba Fett is already. It's already being done with Din Djarin.
Basically,
you already have that stoic, badass mercenary with a heart of gold, and now we have an entirely new element introducing the bigger culture of Mandalore, including relics like the Darksaber, and introducing like this interaction with Jedi.
Right, and I think that's a neat aspect that he can carry. What I thought would have been a beautiful counter would have been Boba Fett. He's the complete opposite of that. He has the Mandalorian aspects to him, but he's a villain. Borderline anti-hero. He's very much to the mission. He's a mercenary. He's not a gunslinger like Jango was. I do exactly what I need to do. People are useful to me only. And it's only begrudgingly because as he's learning more and after the whole Sarlacc incident, it should have been more of he's having a self-reflection, but he's never going to have a heart of gold. It's more of it's not a redemption arc. It's more of I kind of have a sort of complicated family history with these bounty hunters. They're my family, kind of, sort of. And I do favors in dealing. I'm a wheeling, dealing kind of person. But at the end of the day, I am who I am. And that would be a great counter. He's the polar opposite to the Mandalorian, Jin, where while he's the stoic, Boba Fett would have much more like colder lines, which is be more focused. But he would have a lot of wisdom that Jin doesn't have because of his different upbringing. I mean, I'll still go back to it. One of my favorite lines is from like a nonsense episode where he goes, "I was born on water." Like, to me, water has never had that much importance to it. And it shows in a character like that, that would have been a really interesting scene to a character like this showing up on Tatooine. He has a complete dissatisfaction being surrounded by sand because he doesn't, and water is meaningless to him because he was surrounded by it, and then having to change that perspective.
And sand, it's coarse and rough and irritating.
in a way, and again, that line could work, just not in the way that it's just presented. You can make crap lines work if done well or presented. This show, this is like one of the most frustrating shows I've ever watched. Because I see the potential right in front of me, and then it dies. And then I have to watch the next episode and see more of it, and then die. And then watch the 3rd episode and realize there was no potential. And then the 4th, and it's still... And then 5 shows up, and you're like, oh, I'm in a completely different show now.
Then 5 shows up, and Din Djarin is just walking in, and you're just wanting to scream at Alexa, Alexa, play Return of the Mac.
Basically, Return of the Mac, it's like, damn. I need to rewatch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like
That's basically what I did after these last 2 episodes. You know what? It's been a while since I revisited Mandalorian.
like I was hard. I was a little bit like harsh on the Mandalorian because it also wasn't exactly what I was promised, but at least it had something.
Yeah, Mandalorian. I think I've warmed up to it after revisiting this last time because a lot of the episodes end up being more side questy.
Yeah,
But it still works for Din Djarin as a character. Excuse me.
bless you.
But we still learn new things about Din Djarin, and characters in those side quests have ended up coming back and playing a bigger role in his story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I would have had no problem with Timothy Oliphant and Fennec, their characters making this weird alliance and trying to, like, during the fall of the Empire, trying to do this crime martial lawlessness on Tatooine. That's a cool concept.
Yeah. Well,
It just doesn't fit Boba Fett.
I don't know. Well, if you did that, then Timothy Oliphant, and then he couldn't have maybe did the Justified revival, which I care about that more.
Good. I love Justified.
You know.
He does it well. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
At
So
least it's something.
He
did more. He did more in one appearance than
He had
Boba Fett
more
has done in his entire series.
I think one of the big issues. I don't think Tamura Morrison's that good of an actor.
Yeah.
He is a great physical presence, but beyond that, I don't think he brings anything to Boba, or he just doesn't have enough personality.
Timura, I've always respected the guy, but it's always been difficult for me as time has kind of gone on. You listen to the clones; he's fine as a voice for the clones because they're supposed to be soulless and not feel anything. But even early days of Jango Fett, I'm like, "Where's your personality, bro?"
Yeah, I always thought with Tamura Morrison, there's no role that he plays that Cliff Curtis wouldn't crush.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh man, yes, he would have been much better pick. Cliff Curtis would have nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Tamir Morrison's got a good look about him. I mean, kind of like the scars on his face, and kind of the kind of look on his face. He's kind of just got a good look.
But he can't emote. He's got nothing.
No, he's not. I don't think he's that strong of an actor. And if you want to go for the more stoic, more kind of character, which the Mandalorian of Din Djarin already is, but if you're gonna have him in his own series, he's paired with Ming-Na Wen, who's doing the same thing he's doing. She's just doing it better. She's doing it more badass.
You need one of them has to be the straight man. You can't have two in that pairing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Boba Fett filling a darker role as in playing to his strength of being a villain would have been a great, he's a different voice in. He's completely almost ruthless, but he knows he's streetwise. He knows how to get things done. Yeah. He knows he knows who he's got to loosen up, what he's got to hand money or put something away. He's experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around the underworld most of his entire adult life.
Yeah, he grew up
around it.
Yeah, he's grew up in different groups. He learned different trades. He went from a little kid and survived up to past adulthood. You don't get that way by luck.
Yeah,
not in Star Wars.
Yeah. Another thing you see, like we mentioned, so we see the training that Luke is doing. With Grogu there, and see him building his first, Jedi Academy, the academy, that one day that Kylo Ren will fuck up.
We're ignoring that continuity. That's being ignored, basically.
Is it?
Not completely, because they do have set up for the sequel trilogy in small moments of Mandalorian season 2.
Okay, if Kyle Katarn shows up in any of these, then that's not canon.
If Raul Coley shows up as Kyle Katarn, then I will straight up just die.
Yeah, Kyle Katarn shows up.
Pure joy.
Yeah, and he shows up, you're like, all right, boys, the EU's back on menu.
Well, they bring in some of the EU stuff. They just don't make
They do.
the EU stuff just because that's not canon.
They brought EU characters into stuff like Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah.
Like they brought Grand Admiral Thrawn into Rebels. Cad Bane, I think he was an EU character.
Oh yes, he was from the original Clone Wars. Had nothing to do with any of that. He got brought in.
Yeah.
He's a fan favorite too.
Yeah.
For definite reasons, as you can see.
Yeah.
Voiced by the same guy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's been
Sweet.
Even Bad Batch. It's the same voice guy. He's brought him in all appearances.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard him, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. It was interesting as to why Ahsoka Tano was there. She didn't even really answer that question. It was just like, I don't even know why she would be there.
Fan service.
Yeah, she's just kind of hanging out there, and it's funny.
She's there to remind us that, yeah, I'm getting my own show too. So don't expect me to hang around Luke and Grogu too much.
Yeah, they got to maybe set up her whole adventure to get her own show. It was funny though, him coming back there and him really trying to fight it was like a father trying to see his kids, you know what I mean? I just really want to see him, I mean, but, it's like, but you don't have to see him, it's like, but, I have to because, well, it's culture, it's part of my culture. I gotta, he's a foundling and I gotta do this and give him this gift. It's a part of the customs, like that's why I'm here. That's why I gotta do it. It's like, man, you just want to see him, man. You just care about that little goddamn Yoda, man. Come on, stop it.
Can you blame him? That they bonded over like 2 seasons. Also, Grogu's fucking adorable.
Yeah.
Let's also be fair. That is like the guy, Dijon, did more acting in a monotone voice with a mask covered than Boba Timur has done with his mask off.
Yeah,
I felt him when he was just like, but I came all this way.
Credit to one Pedro Pascal's voice performance and the I'm guessing the stuntman that is the Mandalorian on camera, because they capture so much personality even with the helmet on and just through body language and inflection and tone.
Yeah. Bring up that point. He's just like, yeah, but I came all this way though. I mean, he's right there. I could just walk up and just give it to him, and then that'd be it.
Let me see my kid, damn it!
It is. It was very much like, it's breaking your heart. I usually don't get invested in this shit, and I was like, oh, what are these things again? I care. I actually care.
Yeah.
It's like Dusk. Oh, what is this? Feelings.
My icy heart, it's breaking.
And in that moment, Dusk's heart resizes.
Shattered in a million pieces and I died.
Yeah, and seeing, like you said, I think the CGI looks a lot better here on Mark Hamill, the CGI face there on Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah,
they actually, Lucasfilm, they actually hired a guy who, like, just did it as a goof online after season 2 of Mandalorian, and they straight up hired him.
Oh, nice.
Like, okay, yeah, you're hired to deepfake.
Yeah, I saw the trailer he did for that, or when he showed that off, and that was really neat. Later on, they're like, and hired. He's like, what? And hired.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty. I mean, good for him. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, but yeah, it looks a lot better than it did in season 2, and I think sometimes it can look a little expressionless at times, but I think they nail it pretty well.
I think they need to improve the voice actor. Whoever the voice actor is doing, he needs to emote a bit more, because it feels a little too robotic. I think if there was a little bit more emotion,
Hamill.
Yeah, it's Mark Hamill.
If so, I think he needs to emote a little bit more. But I can understand why he was pulling back, because he's supposed to be a master Jedi now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that Mark Hamill, who's now a much older guy, is able to really make his voice sound, kind of much younger like that. Yeah, which is pretty nice. Which is pretty great work on him. Yeah. So I seeing him training and doing everything like that, it just goes to the idea that like the whole Jedi ideology, the religion, is fucking stupid. The entire religion is stupid. The ideology. Thousands and thousands of years, y'all been doing the same thing for thousands and thousands of years, and you're still doing the whole same thing of no attachments, no friends, no family, no partners. It's like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? You wondering why people are burning down your school and killing you all. You wondering
To
why.
be fair, They did touch on that in the extended universe, and Luke did teach in a different method. It wasn't like that. He
Mhm.
thought that was also malarkey, basically, and he thought that was stupid. And so that's why he
And
created the Jedi Academy.
and you also have a character like Ahsoka Tano who grew up with that old way of the Jedi teachings and saw all of the flaws with it.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
left because of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And she
The greatest
became.
regret is that she didn't take her master with her.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a great whole arc with her character. I don't know how much if you never saw Clone Wars and then you never saw her come back in Rebels,
It's
how
it's
much.
some of the best. It's some of the best Star Wars storytelling
It
on television.
it is better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
It is way better. You will hate Ahsoka very early on. She's not a great character, but if you can just get past her being an annoying little shit, eventually she becomes a fan favorite for good reason.
Yeah.
And Anakin actually has a personality, and you understand him.
Yeah,
He's a likable character.
Clone Wars does more to sell Anakin's descent into darkness than any of the prequels.
Yeah. Well, it's a
Yeah.
TV show. You got multiple seasons to really expand. In
True.
a movie, you only had a few hours, couple hours to do that. In a Clone Wars show,
But-
where there were 8 seasons of a show, 9 seasons, you were able to really, really expand upon it and really see this big
But-
arc and change.
But even then, they could have handled that far better in the movies.
Yeah, they could have.
With little scenes here and there could have been, but that's here than here nor there.
Yeah.
Do you want to go for what y'all thought rating wise?
I thought the last episode was really great and one of the best episodes. I think there were a lot of great moments in this episode. I think the blowing up the club, like that was like some true mafia shit. I was like, I love that. I was like,
I'm like,
whoa.
all right, so
That's
a great episode too.
That was like, finally, the gangsters on here feel like fucking gangsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, that's some like true mafia shit. And then they were like, oh wait, you forgot something. Then boom, it was like, oh yeah, that's some good shit right there. I love that. And I loved Timothy Olyphant coming back. His whole standoff with Cad Bane, I thought was really awesome. Again, that old West style, which was nice. Like something that had the good, the bad, the ugly. Which I loved a lot. And I love having the Mandalorian. Love seeing him. Interacting, doing things. Love seeing Baby Grogu. And seeing Luke at this stage of his life. Which I get if you've read the EU stuff, you've seen a lot of this already. Me, I haven't read the EU stuff like that. So seeing Luke, as the full Jedi Master, in capable of all his abilities, training, I thought was nice to see in live action.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing that, which was nice. And Rosario Dawson, even though there's really no purpose for Ahsoka to be there other than fan service, like you said. I mean, hey, it's still Rosario Dawson. She's I like seeing Rosario Dawson. Yeah,
It's still Rosario Dawson, and something that we kind of wanted to see off of her appearance in Mandalorian is she ever going to interact with Luke? Because she had such a tight bond with his father.
Yeah. Yeah, she said, it's like, hey, you remind me so much of him, like a genocidal maniac or what?
No, the better
Hatred of
parts
Sand?
of him.
Yeah.
She reminds him the better parts of his father.
The better part,
Child murdering?
Yeah, the child
Not,
murder.
God damn.
The abject hatred of sand?
Yeah,
Well, I mean that's true. He did grow up on Tatooine. We all understand that.
yeah,
Gets everywhere.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Guy who tried to kill his pregnant wife. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of things.
Oh Lord.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of a good moment there. Yeah, so I think it was a very, very strong episode, a good penultimate episode, and we're gonna be seeing the finale. Do you think Grogu's choice is clear of what he's gonna do? Do you think it's clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just because there's got to be a third season of Mandalorian, that we kind of can guess where his choice is going to go.
Yeah.
And also, it's not like there's a perfect little spot on him for Mando's new ship.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a nice little, cute little spot there. But I don't know, his other ship seemed better because he could sleep there, and then he could also he could just harbor his prisoners there and everything. And Seems like that shit.
The ship is badass. It's an N. I remember someone talking about a video,
It's
but
it's a Naboo N1 starfighter.
NM1. I always thought those ships look cool, and it's right. It looks badass with that V8 engine. That's just a neat Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
I love that. It's superfluous, but I love it. That's okay. Superfluous stuff like that feels mechanical, and that does work in the universe of Star Wars with its machinery.
And showing that long montage of them putting the ship together, it does a lot to ground this world.
Yeah.
And make it feel like lived in.
But you're absolutely right, Josh. It is very not Mandalorian. It's very not practical for long treks.
Well, I think his arc in season 3 is him finding a new purpose.
Yeah.
Because it looks like he's trying to go away from being that bounty hunter.
Right.
Yeah.
He's trying to find his own way.
Yeah, trying to find his own way. Yeah. Like I said, last 2 episodes. The big problem is it's doesn't have Boba Fett in it. It's a Book of Boba Fett show, right? Yeah. So we'll see what the final episode happens. What goes on there. We're gonna be talking about it and then reviewing and then seeing what we got after the whole season is done. All right. So moving on from discussing Book of Boba Fett, I'm gonna be discussing episode 5 and 6 of Peacemaker. We didn't get to episode 5 because of technical issues last week, so we'll be coming in this one. So we're going to be discussing episode 6 first and then kind of go back a little bit with episode 5. So here in this 6th one, Myrn after reading. At the end of the last episode, Danielle Brooks' character...
I think we should just talk about these as one complete 2-part arc, because it kind of feels like that watching them back to back.
Yeah.
So... At the end of episode 4, we get the reveal that Myrn is in fact a butterfly.
5, you mean, episode 5.
Well, they reveal that in episode 4, but then Adebayo finds that out in 5.
Okay, yeah. 5. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So she finds out. Yeah, she finds out in 5 because she puts on Peacemaker's helmet, and then she does the X-ray vision. Those helmets are kind of badass, though. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. Even though it's made by white supremacists. Okay, well, hey, those as all kind of badass there. And she finds out, sees the butterfly in his head. He comes after her. You think he might kill her, might do something, but it's revealed that other people on the team know. And that he's actually
Hardcore and Economos both figured it out.
Well, actually, I think Hardcore just figured out. She told Economos about it, and then he just plugs his ears. Yeah,
it's like he literally plugs his ears.
Yeah, and so he's working with the team to basically eliminate these other butterflies because he says, well, they went rogue. We just came to this planet, just to survive, just to live. Yeah. But then now these other...
I just wanted to live here. Not inhabit anything, just live.
Yeah, and what happened is just all of a sudden there's some rogue butterflies that just want to take over the planet. So he's working with this task force to help eliminate all these kind of other rogue butterflies. That's why he's doing this.
Who plays Myrn?
It's an actor, Chukwudi Iwuji. I don't remember seeing him in anything big. He was in stuff like Designated Survivor, in that Ava DuVernay show When They See Us. He was in Dynasty, Designated Survivor.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to bring it up because I hadn't really seen him in anything else too. I noticed maybe small roles, maybe if I missed it. I'm gonna be paying attention to him in the future because at the beginning of episode 6, he is just all the time he's been pulled back. Episode 6 in the beginning is like he is just unleashed, and his eyes do all the acting for him, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, he's incredible in this, and he's going to be working with James Gunn again in Guardians 3.
Oh my goodness, fantastic!
As an
good for
unknown
him,
character,
man.
Yeah,
great. I mean, just fantastic because.
Because he is incredible in the 6th episode because he's been so pulled back emotionally, so stoic for the last 5 episodes. He gets to really act his ass off and just once again sell how much of a bad dude Clemson Myrn really was.
Yeah,
right.
Because you have this alien inhabiting his body, and he sees everything that Myrn has done in his past, and he is horrified.
Yeah. Not only is he horrified, but he's horrified at himself. The alien is horrified at himself for what he had to do because the others have to be stopped. But I love that there's that beautiful moment where he's just like, but I can see it. He could have still changed, and I have to live with that. I have to live that I
Yeah,
took that
he
from
could have.
him.
He still could have changed, and I took that from him.
And I gotta live with that. I gotta live with it. Like, this is his prison now, and he has to live with that. And you're like, that's what makes him compelling. And I'm glad that was like a pullback from, I think it was episode 2 or 3 when he was talking to Gregor's Diebeard, and he was talking about like, oh, he's like, you think you need like to be chilly? I used to think that. I used to say, oh, I was too good for that. And then at the very end of it, he says, oh, I think I'm chilly. Really? No. But it seemed like a good character moment for me to say that. And that was just like a little moment. I'm like, I like that. I'm pretty sure he might be an alien, but I like that he was just. But it seemed like a good moment to just say that for growth.
Yeah. He blends the drama and comedy really well. Like I think
He does.
Like a lot of people do in this show.
Yeah, that's something that James Gunn excels at. He is, I'd say, he's a master at blending comedy with drama. Because with this show, you could be laughing hysterically at like a little offhanded line here and there, and the next, like you are kind of with the two cop characters who are played by Annie Chang and Lachlan Monroe. And they're just back and forth with Augie Smith, and just like that little joke is like ching chong chafy chopsticks. Yeah, what that really means is it looks like a toad. My haircut looks like a toad took a shit on my head. And then see ya. Then Monroe just wouldn't want to be ya. And then they were just like, really, dude? It's like, I already nailed him. You fucked it up. And then the next moment, it's devastating because Annie Chang's character, Detective Song, gets taken over by the butterfly.
Yeah,
that was in Goff.
Goff.
Yeah.
Who wants quote unquote peace, and I'm sharing quote unquote peace by assimilation.
Yeah.
We want to be the dominant species.
Yeah, peace by, I'm gonna take over all of you.
Right. So that's gonna be it. I'm assuming they just have to take out Groff. Or they got to take out basically, they just have to take out the food supply, and then they're all dead.
Or maybe
that's going to be way harder because they have a quote unquote cow, which was a great beginning. There's like, oh yeah, there's a cow. So, anyways, there's a cow opening cut.
Cal said, "Sounds like the Nazi message. I guess peace by assimilation." Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's basically sounds like what they're going after.
Yeah. And then you have this episode. So Robert Patrick, he got let out of jail. And so as soon as he gets out of jail, he's like, I'm just going to kill my son, a son that he's always hated ever since he was a kid. And, everything like
Killed
that.
his favorite son by accident.
Yeah. And
because, when you train skilled killers at birth, that might happen, in rough play between two people.
Yeah.
Yep. So we get him out of jail with his neo-Nazi buddies, and he puts on the white dragon suit that we saw a few episodes ago.
Not, of course, before getting his dick sucked.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Claire? Claire's Cal's wife, by the way. So hey, what's up to her? Shout out to her. Very, very good. Glad she's watching. We see him. He's donning the white dragon, which is a character from the comics. You know what I mean?
Legit. And the costume design, I checked, is really close.
Yeah, it's pretty much
how ridiculous it is.
Spot on there. And what they did with the KKK hoods, it's funny they did them. Like usually when you see the KKK hoods, they usually go.
Yeah, it's like a straight point.
Yeah,
and
but
here
it's the devil horns.
Here it's the devil horns, much like the white dragon.
Yeah. So they kind of changed that a little bit here, which I thought was kind of a nice change there. How they made it kind of look different there. So you kind of see that. So you have all these things culminating, eventually to the penultimate episode, and then what's going to happen in the final episode. Eventually, all these different elements, because now the police are after Peacemaker because the correction got cleared up of, now people know that it was Peacemaker who was there instead of his father, who they framed. So the police are, coming after him. which was kind of when, and then whenever it's him and Vigilante, they have really great chemistry, bouncing off each other, really really well. Vigilante is just so, I mean, he's not stupid, but he's so just kind of either really naive or just really just silly.
He is off.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah,
you talk to that character, and there's just something that's off with him.
Yeah,
it's like the mind is a prism that is best run away from, not towards.
Yeah.
Yeah. The longer the show goes on, the more I have to re-diagnose him. Because at first I was like, no, okay, he has tendencies of psychopathy. He's a sociopath. No. He does have emotions. He's probably a psychopath. More closer. And now I'm like, no, he's a narcissist that has sociopathic tendencies. He has emotions. He just doesn't know how to deal with them in any way, and so he just runs away from it. He feigns sociopathy. He's like, or like me, someone who doesn't have emotions, and you're like, no, you're just projecting, you little shit.
Yeah.
He's funny as fuck though.
Yeah, it very much is. Like when it's
he's funny as shit. He has incredible chemistry with John Cena and with the entire cast. Freddie Stroma, he's probably up there with my favorite interpretations of the character, because it is not true to
not even close.
The comic version of Vigilante.
Yeah,
in any way, shape, or form. But he is so entertaining to watch.
The costume is the closest to that character. That's the closest thing.
This show, it's incredible at adapting these ridiculous costumes that you see from the books. Like Peacemaker's got a really dumb costume, so does the White Dragon, and Vigilante, they nailed it. They nailed the aesthetic. It still feels like real world, but also that it's like you take a step back. I was like, what the fuck?
I love John Cena's Peacemaker. To me, his costume, it always makes you laugh because it's so tight on him. It just looks so awkward. He's got these huge biceps, and he just looks like he's strutting uncomfortably through it with those big boots.
Oh yeah, and the episode 6 here opens up great because it does he's doing a show and tell type thing where he shows up to in front of a kids class. That's a great open. It was a great opening here.
Janitor returns and funny effect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that was I think a really great thing, and he's just just such an asshole. Like giving every kid that raises his hand, he gives them a stupid nickname. It's like, oh, you just sees a kid with glasses. Kid's not even black.
He just calls.
You know what I mean? Calls him Urkel and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just because the kid's got glasses, he's not even black. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
It's like an Asian kid, fucking Rubik's Cube world champion.
Yeah.
I love how they often comment. I love how they also comment on the fact, even in the same episode, why he does all these bullying things and the parasitic things. It's like, because he's insecure in himself and he doesn't know how to project it otherwise. And so he's like, well, people call me a bully. That hurts my feelings. And we're like, well, you're being an asshole.
Yeah. And he tries his best. You know what I mean? He's like, well, you can't say Oriental anymore. You can't really say that word anymore.
And he doesn't know why. He just knows that you don't.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah, and that one line is like, oh no, the straight white man having the insufferable prison of having to maybe substitute one word for another.
He's like, I said fine, okay? I wasn't getting against it. I was just saying fine. I just didn't know why, okay? Now I know.
So I mean, yeah, the show is. I mean, it's really great at doing that and kind of balancing elements, which I think
also pokes fun in that kind of pushback too, which is also fun.
Yeah, which is I think
you can tell that James Gunn is a guy that.
Oh, you cut out
because he has some. You can tell that James Gunn is a guy that spends a lot of time on Twitter because he has a lot of that internet discourse around subjects like this down to a T.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I do see. Yeah, he's on Twitter. He's very active on Twitter. Very much. I see him all the time there. Yeah.
I do feel bad for the cops though. I genuinely do feel bad.
James Gunn is not a kind man to characters, especially in both the Suicide Squad and this, because I think they dropped in the Suicide Squad that if you get taken over by Starro, you're dead.
Yeah.
And it looks like a similar situation here.
Oh, they explain in depth in episode 5. If you're taken over, you're completely dead. You are just a husk being puppeteered. There's no salvaging. There's no saving you. The process to do it requires you to basically destroy slash like destroy the brain to get to the control.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and
any
this is the
organ
first
in the
time
meantime.
and this is the first time we've actually seen it in action, and it's terrifying.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
horrifying.
Which I was kind of sad. I did like that detective. I did like her. I
I
was kinda,
did. I liked her and
Yeah,
her partner.
Yeah, I keep remembering that every time I see him in something bad, I keep getting reminded that Lachlan Monroe is a hell of a comic actor.
Mhm.
Because he was incredible in stuff like a Scary Movie and
Mm.
even White Chicks, which is not a good movie, but
Oh.
he's a lot of fun in.
Right, he was in that. Oh wow, yeah, he was that.
Yeah,
guy. I forgot about
you
that.
going back old school.
And even like a Little Man, where he just like punts fucking Marlon Wayans.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a very good comedic actor, and he's good here. And in this episode, you see the butterflies take over the entire police station. And I
Can we give
guess
credit to the
In a pretty badass like slow
Oh yeah.
slow motion montage with that James Gunn always has in everything that he does.
Can we give credit to the actress who plays the female detective?
Yeah, Annie Chang, who plays
Annie Chang.
Detective Sophie Song.
I
haven't seen her in much. She's
No.
had small roles in stuff like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like Master of None. She is wonderful in it, and she sells both characters as Annie, as Detective Song, and then as the now possessed by the goth butterfly.
Yeah, I think the scene that haunts me the most is like when they're talking and she's about to leave, and she's like, she did care for you a bit, but it doesn't really matter. Enjoy what you got. And then she like tries to smile, and it's the most haunting, disturbing thing. Like you can see there's like a genuine intent to make it meaningful. The smile means something.
Yeah,
but
and then they just like
failing
it's like fuck, everyone doesn't realize that smiling is different on every human head. You gotta like relearn it over and over again, which is called back to in one of the most disturbing shots in the last few scenes.
They're all smiling and it's all awkward.
They're all trying to smile, but it's like they don't know how to.
Right.
And I guess
reminded me a lot of the manga Parasite.
And I guess if one butterfly is in one host, another butterfly can come in there, because the guy that was the sheriff or the one in charge, I mean, he already had a butterfly.
He wasn't a butterfly.
Oh, okay. He wasn't. Oh, okay.
It was the relationship
never...
between Myrn, his previous life.
Oh, okay.
That's how they knew each other.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like one of the butterflies that was working.
No,
with
he was calling on a favor from the human side of him.
Oh,
he was friends with Myrn before Myrn got butterflied.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That's when episode 5, he's like, we killed a lot of people in jungles and stuff like that. He goes, we did a lot of things in those jungles.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's just kind of things like that. And he's like, look, I just need this thing taken care of. And you can tell, like, he's very distant and he doesn't. There's no like, I don't want to do anything with you, but I need your help.
Yeah, and that guy is scary as shit. That's Captain Locke, who's played by Christopher Heyerdahl.
He's like taking care of those cops, and he's like, "No, please don't." And he's like repeating their words.
No, please don't.
Like he's heard it a million times.
I thought again, this continues to be a strong show. And it's funny that this episode 6 kind of things really shit hits the fan here, because in the last episode it was such a cool bonding moment between the whole team, and they took the group photo and made a group chat, and they
11th Street team for life.
11th Street kids.
Yeah, so that I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah,
that.
which a cool like behind the scenes thing. That's actually the entire like cast group chat. They literally call it the 11th Street Kids.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That's a fun little thing there. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
See, Boba Fett, this is how you actually do a show in 8 episodes while maintaining tension throughout.
Yeah,
and for one thing, Peacemaker actually appears in Peacemaker,
and he doesn't always succeed, but he at least does something, like taping a grenade to a torpedo or some crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also get, I think, probably the best. John Cena, he's been great in all of these, balancing the more comic stuff with genuine heartfelt emotion. And you have this long sequence of John Cena actually playing the piano in this, playing this like piano version of Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue.
Recognize the melody.
It's hauntingly beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so much because Peacemaker, yes, Chris Smith, he's a guy that was not encouraged to express himself creatively and artistically. It was more just you kill people and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not watching the show, watch it, man. I mean, it's a great show. I think
I personally,
at this point,
this is the best comic book show to come out since Daredevil.
I don't know. That's tough. I think The
that-
Boys
I think-
is really great. I think
Every time I think about like it's this, The Boys, or Daredevil.
I think
know,
also
as
Watchmen
my
is also really
greatest
great.
comic book
I don't
show.
know. Watchmen is also really great. The Boys. And
yeah, you know what, Nick? I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree. I like Boys and more than Preacher. Although sometimes Preacher's pretty good. I gotta say, this is probably my favorite show of these kind of superhero stuff since really Daredevil. I haven't really been like excited for an episode since I have. Where I'm like, oh shit, how's this gonna work? Because nobody's safe. For a second, I thought I was gonna go into Vigilante. I'm like, oh no, we're gonna go that way. We're gonna lose this character.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then Judo Master, he still has to come back. He's been gone for 2 episodes.
Judo Master needs to join the team and say like what he was trying to say.
Yeah. So he's still up there. I mean, he's been going through hell. I mean, he got hit in the head and he got shot. And he's still up there though.
Still being like sedated.
Yeah, the next 2 episodes are gonna be fucking nuts because you have so many elements coming together. You have the butterflies taking over the police station. You have the White Dragon coming to kill Peacemaker. You have the entire thing of them having to go kill the cow.
And there's a warrant, like a mass warrant.
And there's
for
a
his
massive manhunt for Peacemaker now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just made his job a billion times harder.
Yeah. So can't wait. Cannot wait.
Honestly.
All right, so moving on from discussing that, we're done with the reviews. Going to be getting into some trailer talk real quick, and then we're going to be heading out. Our first trailer we're going to be discussing is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that is coming on Netflix. This is a reboot, sequel, remake, requel, re-energized, retreaded.
Reimagining, retreading, rip-off. I mean,
pick anything.
Because let's be 100% clear. This is just a rip-off of Halloween 2018. Going back, following up from the original sequel, which they actually tried, I think, in 2017 with Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
everybody hated that movie, so nobody followed up on it.
I don't think I even remember seeing Texas. Did I?
It is.
There was not.
It is awful.
It was not very well promoted.
I think
It was. It wasn't well promoted, and it just wasn't good.
Yeah,
I was trying to be nice.
I don't remember much besides Alexandria Daddario's cleavage. I don't really remember much else about the movie.
Well,
you mean the button-down shirt with the 2 magnets attached to her boobs?
Oh yeah, and the tube. She was wearing a tube top. She had the shirt all kind of tied up at the.
That was
waist. I was like,
definitely my type growing up.
Yeah. So that's kind of the only thing I remember. But yeah. So here.
Yeah, in that movie, she definitely heavily influenced my taste.
Yeah. So you do have that. So. What reason people are saying it's Halloween 2018 is because you have the actress from the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre all the way back in 1974 coming back here and seeking revenge on Leatherface. The actress from the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what was her name? I'm trying to see here. But she's back. She still looks really good, by the way. Looks really amazing. Marlon Burns here, who's coming back here. As Sally, and still looks really great. They're doing a Jamie Lee Curtis type situation where she's now this withered veteran, having experienced Leatherface like how Jamie Lee Curtis experienced Michael Myers, and she's coming back with an arsenal, as you see in the trailer here, to fight. As Leatherface is back on his bullshit again with the chainsaw. And what tone do you all think they're going for here in this movie because it seems like they're going more for seems like campy kind of stuff because you see the trailer where he gets on the bus, which I actually thought that was kind of a good scene.
That is probably the highlight of this trailer and probably the cool scene.
Yeah,
because you have, I think the premise is like 50 years after the events of the first movie, you have this like group of influencers who are trying to like revitalize the town, and Leatherface is just not having it. So they all like put their phones up at him. It's like, you do anything and you're canceled, bro.
Yeah,
he said, cancel this, bitch.
Yeah, you're canceled, sis. Oh my god, yeah, basically.
But a couple reasons that even with how convoluted this and the entire Texas Chainsaw timeline is, because there's like 3 separate like universes that they could be following. You have the 78 film and the other like Texas Chainsaw Massacres after that. You have the 2003 remake with Jessica Biel. You have the prequel to that movie. You have Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is supposed to be a sequel to the original. And you have 2017's Leatherface, which is a movie I actually kind of like. It's really stupid because it implies that Leatherface at any point in his life was successfully able to flirt with a cute nurse.
Okay. Yeah.
But besides that, I think that movie is entertaining. But here with Texas Chainsaw, this new Chainsaw Massacre, I think they're going for more camp. You have guys producing it like Fede Alvarez, who I really liked his Evil Dead movie.
I did too. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
You kind of have the like Ghost House Pictures producing on this. But it also has had a lot of production trouble, mostly due to COVID-19. But I like the cast that you have here. You got Elsie Fisher, who I think this is one of her big projects after 8th grade.
Okay.
She was in Castle Rock after 8th grade, but I thought she was wonderful in that film. She's a great introduction performance. You have Sarah Yarkin, who was in stuff like the Happy Death Day movies. But besides that, it's coming on Netflix. I'll definitely watch it when it comes out, but I'm not exactly excited for it.
Dusk?
There are 2 directions this can go in. Even within its own franchise. It can go hardcore, going back to its roots, and which it's already lost because it's going to show blood. People don't realize, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't really show a lot. And it allowed you to do a lot of it with your mind.
Yeah, that was a movie that, with the original Texas Chainsaw, because of the state of film, the time it came out, it was a lot of censorship going on with a lot of film. So Tobe Hooper, he relied more on the theater of the mind, because nothing that anybody can show you is going to be anywhere near as horrifying as what you can come up with in your own head.
Right. Sometimes a lot of that movie still gets me on just the sound effects and just the hammer coming down and the visual showing and then the door slamming shut and you're like, oh crap. Just stuff like that. And he did it in the daytime, which was really not really done then. And just you're not safe at all.
Which is not done. It was barely done then in the 70s, and it's barely done now in slasher film.
So it's very respected because of that, and just Tobe Hooper in general. It's either going to go that direction, which I could, because the director of the Evil Dead remake was pretty good, despite it being a remake, was a pretty good horror movie in its own right. Did some good scares in there. Or it can do the years later approach Tobe Hooper did and make a poor parody of itself. So as long to me as it's one or the other, I'll have fun. In case you don't know, Josh, to give a dead giveaway that it was going to be more of a parody, the Texas Chainsaw family, including Leatherface, sat in the same way that the poster was for what's the movie? It's the Brat Pack. They were in
Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club, the same poses of the Breakfast Club members. So all the all the merchandising, everything had them in the same way as a parody during the posters for that movie. So that should let you know what kind of a movie it was.
Yeah. By the
So
way,
either way, man.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. By the way, I made a mistake. So there's a different actress who's playing Sally. Because Marilyn Burns, she died. So there's a different actress who's playing her.
Oh, okay.
There's a different actress who's playing her in this one. Yeah. You about to finish what you about to say?
Nah, man. I mean, like I said, if it's one of those two, the worst thing it could be is the mid 2000s version, where it was neither that scary and kind of boring.
It could be the 2010s version, because
that's what I'm worried.
The 2003 movie, I think it's fine for what it is.
Yeah, for what it is. It was at least R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from discussing, let me see when does this movie come out? February.
It's February 18th on Netflix.
Pretty soon.
Great Halloween movie.
which I think is a good call for this, because one, people are kind of burnt out with Texas Chainsaw, especially the last two movies. They kind of bombed. It's
when did
nobody saw those movies.
Texas Chainsaw come out? On the last
2017's Leatherface. Leatherface came out in 2017. That was kind of like a prequel to the original.
Okay.
Like the second prequel, but in a different timeline. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on from discussing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm gonna discuss another trailer. Halo. Halo TV show is coming. Halo the series is gonna be on Paramount Plus. Maybe it finally is trying to get reason people to subscribe to Paramount Plus.
Because Marky Mark and that movie Infinitude.
Yeah. I have Paramount Plus. The only reason I have it is to watch football games. That's the only reason I have it.
What about Ted Lasso?
No, Ted Lasso's on
That's Apple Plus.
That's Apple
Plus. You're right. Damn it. There's too many services.
Yeah. So that's kind of the only reason I have it. It's just to watch.
Rent is too damn high.
So this one. Also Paramount Plus. It also has the Star Trek shows. So like Picard and
Jesus.
And Star Trek Discovery. If you want to watch those two, those are also big.
You want
shows.
to watch trash?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I only ever watched the first season of Star Trek Discovery, and I thought it was kind of decent. I never saw Picard, so I can't really give my comment on that.
Unless you want to be sad.
Yeah. So what did you all think about this trailer? How much of a bigger fans of you are Halo? Dusk, you said you really know a lot about the series, the lore, things like that.
At least enough for someone. I didn't start with the games when I was younger. I did know someone who had Halo, and I would go over and we would play co-op, and that was fun. But it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that someone gifted me the Master Chief Collection. I decided, you know what, I'm going to play through all the games, see what all the fuss is about. And over time, I have grown to really appreciate what people saw at the time. Unpopular opinion, I think my personal favorite is a tie between Halo 3 and ODST. I personally love ODST. I like the rookie character. I like the jazz music. I like the different take, the more somber approach. But that's just me personally. But I think all of them have strong soundtracks. The visual approach is really good. I like that the Master Chief Collection was trying to fix issues that the originals had in their original ports, which was nice to finally see after 12, 15 years after it. And I know people at work who also have read the books, and as convoluted as those get, at least people seem to enjoy some of them. Some of them are better than others, like everything else, but they enjoy it. I don't know as much, but I know people who do, and yeah.
So explain the plot of Halo. What is Halo about?
Okay. All right. So basically, the plot for Halo is many years in the future, human beings spread out into colonies. During those colonies, they colonists do mine and help for the U.S. as the United States military, or basically the space military, and they start rebelling. So at the same time, they start developing Spartans as a way to police back against the rebellion of colonists.
Yeah, and the Spartans are basically the super soldiers.
They're super soldiers made to combat civil unrest. That was their initial program. And just coincidentally, before the first Spartan 2 rollouts, all of a sudden, they get attacked by the Covenant, which is an amalgamation of many different alien races into one Covenant that it attacks one of the Earth's colonies. and that turns these super soldiers to push back against freedom into, oh, well, they're our last hope, and it changes they're able to spin it into an alternative and now push forward the Spartan program into Spartan 2. John 117 is one of the individuals who became a super soldier. He, along with over 100 children, were taken from their families unknowingly, and they left clones called flash clones that they were going to take them, and if they survived the process, they failed, they would just bring the kids back and switch them out. Well, something went wrong with the flash clones, and they died. So all those kids just die. So they're like, oh, well, if we return any of these kids, it's a huge scandal. So you belong to us now, and we can't let ever this go. So that's why a lot of Spartans see the one of the head scientists is kind of a mother figure, because that's a girl. One specifically is called John 117, aka the Master Chief, and he's the one that we play throughout all the games. The first game starts off when you are on the ship called the Pillar of Autumn.
The Pillar of Autumn, which is a ship that was escaping one of the last remaining human colonies out in space on a planet called Reach.
Yeah, exactly, which was where the Covenant attacked. You play an entire game of a team of Spartans that dealt with that, and ultimately Reach falls. Because of that, they're holding on to an AI called Cortana, who has all the information and battle plans and location of Earth, which they desperately can't let the Covenant get their hands onto. Well, the humans stumble upon an artifact called a halo, and this halo supposedly has life on it and is revered by the Covenant. Well, in the first game, you stumble onto it, and through different narratives, you discover that there's these creatures called the Flood that inhabit the halo. And you learn, okay, we're going to turn this thing on, and it's going to work out. What you find out is, no, the halo will deal with the Flood, but when activated, the halo destroys the Flood's food supply. The Flood can't be destroyed. They're just going to starve them. And the food supply is everything. Every organic life, humans, Covenant, everything. The Covenant don't know that, and so they revere it. And so as the
Covenant, the Covenant have made their religion around these halos. That turning one of them on will start their great journey into heaven.
Basically, yeah, that's what they think based on bad information or just whatever they want to believe. You, as the Master Chief, fight against the Covenant, fight against the Flood, destroy the Halo, and try to head home. You return as heroes. A very few people survive the incident of that and come back in Halo 2. The Covenant find their whereabouts to Earth. You deal with the Covenant. You fight the Covenant. One of the failing generals of Covenants in the first game is later called the Arbiter, is punished and is made the Arbiter, who is supposed to redeem himself in the eyes of the Covenant. The Arbiter, voiced by Keith David, badass himself, legendary. He voices the Arbiter and goes on his own quest, and in doing so finds out the secrets of Halo, the Halo rings, and finds out that all these alien species have just been culled by this one specific alien species on their religious zealotry, and he fights back against them. Throughout the rest of the games, he and Arbiter meet up giving me twice.
Are you giving me plot by plot of every game? I was like,
no, I'm trying to finish up. No, okay. I'm literally just trying to finish up.
Okay.
You work side by side with them. Eventually, you stop the Halo rings. Master Chief and Cortana are left out in space, thought to be heroes, valiantly sacrificing themselves. Earth is safe, and the Covenant are now controlled by the Arbiter and his armada, and peace reigns. That's basically to sum it up. That's basically Halo.
That's basically the cliff notes of all three games. The original Halo trilogy.
Okay. All right. And with this series, so besides for Master Chief, besides for Dr. Catherine, besides for Cortana, all these other characters that you see here, like Bokeem Woodbine, these are all newer characters that haven't been in the games, right?
No, brand new.
Okay, so brand new characters.
Yeah, brand new characters, and I think you also see in a split second, and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
In this, which it's curious where this show's timeline is. Is it before the first game? Is it like the exploits of Master Chief before, or is it essentially leading up to the events of the first game? is what I'm curious about.
Or is this after 3? Is this in between 4 and 5? I don't know, because there's certain situations where you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Regardless of which, from what most people, fans that I know, they only have 2 complaints. I'll list the positives first. The set design looks great.
Production design, costume design, it's on point. The armor that Pablo Schreiber, who you all know from stuff like 13 Hours, stuff like Lights Out, which was that fantastic show on FX, and I believe he was also in this movie called Den of Thieves, which was basically like Discount Heat. Yeah. He's great in that. And he's playing Master Chief here.
That's the biggest complaint for many people. When you think of Master Chief, a lot of fans think of Steve Down, as he is the Master Chief. He's voiced his appearance in every single iteration, even in the anime series or movies, even in the spin-offs. Steve Dorn has always been the voice, and he's carried that character. Even in the latest game that's come out, and future games likely, he is the Master Chief. If Master Chief's in there, Steve Dorn's there. Which made a lot of people scratch their head of, why isn't Steve Dorn doing the voice? But they got the voice actress and model for Cortana. She's back.
Yeah, she's back, and people have an issue with her, but when I looked at her, and then I looked at a image that somebody had of Halo 5, it looks pretty similar to how she looked in Halo 5.
It's more like, it's not that they have a problem with her as a feature. They think that was a good casting, and they like that she's as she is. The problem is they have a problem with the post effects. They feel it's lacking. They feel there's not like any AI designing on it. There's no backlight. There's no fluorescence. There's no hell. If you check The Expanse, there's just like a floating blue woman in there. They're like, that's a better representation of FX design of what people were mostly hoping based on the games. Right now, it feels a little but that's something that a lot of fans like. But they can fix that in post. That's something easily fixable.
We kind of are in the age where studios are listening to fans online about fixing character designs. Like, can you imagine if that Sonic movie came out with that original monstrosity?
Yeah. I'm also going to be perfectly honest. I don't. They gave an explanation. Apparently, allegedly, officially, they gave him the response of why Steve Dorn wasn't voicing this character. Wasn't voicing Master Chief, and their response was, and people have called BS, he's too old. Oh, he's just simply too old for the role. And you're like, and people are like, we just bought Halo Infinite, and his voice is all over here, and he will continue to do it to give him. Voice actors don't age. Voice actors are voice actors. You just give them money.
Yeah, Mark Hamill has played the Joker well into his 30s.
And he will keep doing so because he can do it.
And he will continue to do so until A, he gets like voice cancer, knock on wood, and hope that doesn't happen, or he dies.
Yeah. Hell, he was in this recent episode, did his own voice, and he sounded like his younger self. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because Halo has kind of been in some form of development hell since like 2001.
Over 15 years. This show was initially announced at like Xbox One.
Yeah, there was like movies announced for it back in like 2000. Back in 2005. Yep. The originally was supposed to be by Neil Blomkamp,
and then Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro was attached to it at one point. Then it finally picked up some momentum with Pablo Schreiber attached as Master Chief on Showtime. And now this is like the closest it's gotten to actually seeing the light of day back in 2018.
They promised that show and during Xbox One's announcement. They announced that, we're working on a brand new show with Steven Spielberg attached to it. And that was 15 plus years ago, and now it's finally coming out. His production has been behind this.
Yeah, he's still attached to this as an executive producer.
Yeah. So his hand's been in there working on this for a long time. You can actually see some of the trailers or one-shot short films that Neil Blomkamp and Guillermo del Toro worked on, and they're fantastic. They were all great proof of concepts that just never quite got off the ground. So a lot of fans are just happy just to see this get off the ground at all. Their worry is just,
and there's still even while the original idea of like a feature film was in development hell forever, there's still a lot of great like anime stuff behind it. There's like cool miniseries with this. There's like a great live action miniseries called Forward Unto Dawn, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's the Spec Ops series that some fans enjoyed, that they followed other Spartans. The Halo universe is actually fairly rich. There's a lot of interesting avenues the franchise still hasn't quite gone into that the extended universe has. So fans are really excited to see like the little like things that they might see. Oni's got to show up at one point. Or these things got to show up. Hopefully they do. A lot of fans seem excited about this. Their only problems are, why isn't Steve Dorn voicing the character? And can you maybe fix Cortana's like FX? Can you fix her a little bit? We don't mind that she's here, or at all. We're happy that she is. But if she's here, why isn't Steve Dorn? Because they're the chemistry. These are the characters, and it feels off.
Even if on paper Halo is kind of like this very shallow shoot 'em up style game, it's the chemistry between Steve Downes and Jen Taylor that sell the first 3 games.
Yeah, really.
I was playing a little bit of that Forward Unto Dawn, seeing the trailer for that, see how it matches up to the trailer there. Obviously, that was just like a web series. Here on Paramount Plus, it seems like they're putting a good amount of money into the show.
Yeah, they have.
You don't get Steven Spielberg attached as a producer and not have him write a check.
Yeah. So it seems like they are putting a lot of good amount of money into it. Over the course of the series, I'd be interested to know how much they're spending per episode. With a show
Millions.
Like this. Because this show doesn't. This show is a lot of things, but it does not look cheap.
You shouldn't. Honestly, it's one of those things. Like, if you're gonna bother doing something, Halo is a sci-fi spectacle. You don't go in cheap, unless you're doing like ODST stuff. Like, that's a little bit more grounded, but you still gotta design sets. You still gotta be on streets. You still gotta be. You could be a little bit cheaper, but not by much.
Yeah, you still got to make sets. You still have to make the costumes for it, and you gotta blow some shit up.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah. So I think it does look nice. What do you all think about the newer characters, like with Boki Wunban? Some of the little bit of the newer people. Are you kind of excited to see them? What's kind of the feeling there?
I'm not really have a lot of knowledge about a lot of the extra lore with Halo, but I like Bokeem Woodbine. I'll see anything he's in. I'll give anything he's in a shot.
From what I've heard from most fans, again, people are just optimistic they even are getting something, and they're hoping the show is good. They want it to be good. And they'll just have to deal with the off-putting nature of Master Chief not being voiced by Steve Dorn. They'll put up with that if the show's good. A lot of people. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and even if the different voices coming out of Master Chief, I still think Pablo Schreiber is a hell of an actor.
He's not doing a bad job.
If anybody could do it besides Steve Downe, I'm glad they got an actor with his like kind of screen presence and his charisma.
So do you think why they had him voice it, because they're eventually going to have him take his helmet off?
Yeah, because you see like little in the trailer you see Master Chief outside of the armor.
Yeah. So that's also another contention. A lot of
people.
Hey,
what's going on, Javon? Good. Thank you for the lurk, man. Thank you for the 80 bits. Much appreciated, man.
A lot of people are hoping that they don't. That's been a big thing for Halo is don't take off like his helmet. Like Master Chief is kind of one of those characters where he's more of the anonymous nature of him.
Yeah, he's meant to be this audience avatar. It's supposed to be like anybody could be under the helmet.
He does have a personality. Don't let it get twisted. Master Chief does have a personality. He does have a character. He does have a history, and he does have chemistry with characters. But he does have that. But the fact that it's supposed to be he's like a Boba Fett. Don't take off the helmet. Just let him be the character. Let him be the man. Let him be this guy who says cool things and has emotion when he needs to.
Hey, thanks for playing that sound alert there, John.
Say a cool line.
Afternoon delight there. Thanks very much for the 10 bits. I'm going to be adding some new sounds, too, that I found there onto the soundboard there, sound alerts. Yeah.
Master Chief is the kind of guy that at the very end of something, after he's finished business, he just goes, "Wake me when you need me." That's the kind of character he is.
Yes, I guess maybe. Yeah, I guess that's why they get a kind of a named actor. Probably going to come in, take his helmet off. You know what I mean? Be someone you actually see at one point.
And let's be honest, man. Let's be perfectly honest. Fans are just gonna redub his voice anyways. They're just gonna take snippets of Steve Dorn through various things, and they'll just plug it Vocaloid style, and they'll redub it. They will.
Probably, yeah.
The technology has gotten really good.
So
it's not like the technology isn't there already.
Exactly.
So, do you think that this is a kind of a streaming seller? Like, if you didn't have Paramount Plus, you would come in going like, okay, well, now I want to subscribe.
I think 10 years. If this came out 10 years ago,
I think that's kind of what Paramount's hoping for.
Yeah.
But I think if this came out closer to, like, say, 10 years ago when Halo 3 was finally hitting consoles, it would have been a much bigger deal. But I think they're releasing it now off of the word of mouth and strength of something like Halo Infinite, which I hear is a great game, is getting a lot of great buzz behind it. It's a huge selling point for the Xbox Series X.
It's on Game Pass, too, so it's free for people to play.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite. Solid game. Good gameplay. The only problem a lot of people have with it is some things with the campaign, but mostly with the multiplayer progression system. They do not like how it's been implemented, and they are very vocal about it. But 343 has been listening, and they've been adjusting things, and hopefully over time it'll get better and better. They've been listening more in the past, so people are hopeful for that. But overall, it's a damn fine game. Compared to the chuckleheads of Battlefield 2042 and Call of Duty Vanguard, Halo once again has found its place as the killer app. And you know what? I welcome the Chief back in his rightful place. I'm not even a big Xbox fanboy, but I respect the man and his place in video game history. He can wear that crown easy again.
Money wise, do either of you know, like, Halo franchise, like, is it up there with Call of Duty? You know, as far as
it is very high.
100%. It 100% was back in the day. And even now with Halo Infinite, every time I log into Twitch, I see that as one of the top trending games that streamers are playing.
When Halo Infinite gets Forge as a feature, which it no doubt will, that's going to skyrocket even more because all the Battle Royale people will finally be able to make their Battle Royale maps, and all the little individual groups, FPS groups that have attached themselves to Halo will now have avenues to make their own little maps and features and a bigger community. So that'll just rise even further.
Yeah.
It's going to make its money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Halo is absolutely iconic. I mean, the character of Master Chief is absolutely iconic. One of the most popular video game characters in history. And I think that, it's, whether or not people are going to really gravitate toward this, and it is going to be something that people pick up, or it's going to be a show that people really watch a lot, discuss a lot. Well, that's yet to be seen. But when does the show come out? Let me see here. When's this?
It premieres March 24th of this year.
March 24th.
So not that long.
Yeah. So we're going to
be March is going to be a packed month because we got the Batman out, we got premiering, and we got Moon Knight the next week.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get. I mean, people. Yeah, it's gonna probably get steamrolled viewer wise by
people. So there's a theme here. People in armor, just all across the line. People in just armor. We've got Batman and it's all black. We got Moon Knight all white, and then we got Master Chief, that green motherfucker in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Everybody, they're basically just telling us, everybody, get the fuck out of March. Stay. Hours.
Yeah, studios, if you're trying to release something, just don't.
Ain't nobody going nowhere. They're staying home.
Just don't.
Hey, that's going there. Park Films. Whoa. What up? Finally caught you guys live for the very first time. How you doing? How's the stream going?
Hey.
Doing good. Doing very well. We just did a review for Peacemaker 5 and 6. We did a review for Book of Boba Fett, episode 6. We also did reviews of Jackass Forever. Check that out as well, and did some news topics as well. Discussed the Halo trailer and did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Discussed that trailer as well. So since we're talking about Halo anyway, going to be moving on to discussing Bungie. Sony acquired Bungie. Bungie was the people that made Halo to begin with, the franchise. Sony acquired Bungie for $3 billion. So what do you all think this does for Sony, and do you think it's in response to Xbox getting Activision Blizzard?
I think that's exactly what it is. Especially given that Bungie, they've kind of gotten off the Halo train. They're more known for Destiny nowadays. So we're probably going to see a lot more of those games like ending up becoming PlayStation exclusives, I think.
Dusk?
So, realistically speaking, this deal was going through well before Activision and they announced it.
Okay.
No doubt that was already in talks well before then, and Sony was making moves. I think, however, when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, they hurried up the paperwork, so to speak. That was more of a, we're already in the works, we need to stamp this now. From what I understand of Sony's plan, from what I read into it, because I read a little bit about this, they bought Bungie because they see a lot of potential in what Bungie as a company can do for live services, and they want more live service games. In fact, Sony's announced that by 2026, they're hoping to make 10 live service games. They want to get into that market, and they feel that Bungie would be a good fit in that to make that kind of substantial live service games. I think they're banking a lot on Bungie and their fan base. However, I think unfortunately for Sony, the people who made Halo have gone to half of them went to 343, and the other half that worked at Bungie have left Bungie because of Activision's crap. And a lot of people left over in Bungie are not the same people that made those great games. But labels sell games, reputation sells games. So just ask BioWare. I think at this point, it was just a couch move. All right, then the console war begins again in a different way, where now we're buying up different studios. But I think this leaves a very dangerous precedent. All these buying up these is, I think, removing the whole point of having third-party different studios, and is really dangerously, especially with Activision and Microsoft. That's a legit, almost monopoly move.
Yeah.
I really don't like that, but we'll see how that goes. From what I understand, from what I heard, Sony does say that Destiny and future objects will still be multi-platform. They're gonna let Bungie be fairly autonomous and let them keep doing what they're doing, but I think they do want that live service model. That is their main interest.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. That's where they're going with it, from what I heard.
Yeah. Let's see. Park Film said, yeah, March is going to be a hell of a packed year with ton of upcoming superhero content for sure. Yeah, we discussed that. A lot of stuff coming out March. I kind of want that Batman Little Caesars hat. I've been seeing people rock the Little Caesars hat. I kind of want that Batman Little Caesars hat. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Hop on like StockX or Goat, and you'll probably be able to buy it for like $100.
I don't know. I saw some guy on TikTok. He applied to Little Caesars and got the job. And he just, I just want the hat. Then he's like, man, they're gonna be mad as hell when I don't show up tomorrow. You know what I mean? Got the little hat, and they got like that pizza, like the Batman that's shaped in like a bat symbol.
It looks disgusting, but I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't eat the shit out of that.
Oh, hey, that's gonna be our next video. Nick mukbang video. Little Caesars.
Oh god.
Yeah, Little Caesars isn't in Japan. It's on you, dude.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll do a mukbang video. March 4th. Yeah. I'll sit here. Yeah. I'll eat the Batman Little Caesars pizza. And then Park Films also said, to be honest, I actually love Peacemaker way more than the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. I think everybody feels that way. Most
Peacemaker has been way more consistent.
Yeah.
By having the best episodes of the show. The title character is actually in it.
Yeah. And yeah, so I mean, yeah, Peacemaker's blowing Boba Fett out of the water. So with Sony, acquiring Bungie, obviously they want to, with this company, these big companies buying and eating all these little companies, they want to kind of create the, really grab the content for themselves and put it under their brand, their umbrella, so that they're really making money from it. And that can be like, Dusk at a dangerous precedent. We talked about that when Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard. You're creating this huge monopoly. Are these big franchises going to be now only on one console instead of, multi-platform? You know what I mean? I think it's kind of going to do that. I think some like Call of Duty, maybe that's just too big to just be on one console because Call of Duty would lose so much money that way. You know what I mean? From that. So I think that's still going to probably be a multi-platform thing. But with this, with Bungie, like I said, mostly known from doing Destiny. I know people are kind of shaky on Destiny as far as being a great game. There's a lot of people who really don't like that game. A lot of kind of mixed feelings about it. And also, now that maybe they have the backing of Sony, Bungie being a smaller company, they can put more money into it, and put a lot more money into their projects and help develop a lot more of their stuff. And Sony, who's really known for doing a lot of major in-house content and getting a lot of these single player games, like God of War, like Spider-Man, which is a big thing they have coming out this year. Maybe it's a chance to more build that content that they have that you can only go to for PlayStation. Do I think
a lot of people have been hoping that Bungie's stories would be much better and have much better single player content. So a lot of people are hoping that's a new change. Also, Nick, I checked. If you want that Batman hat, people are selling it on eBay for $80.
$80, holy shit.
81. It comes with a poster too for one of them.
Oh wow.
Poster and a hat. Poster and a hat, $80. Going once, going twice.
Maybe I wonder if they just give me the hat if I just walk in the little season. I'll just take the hat.
Oh my god. I know you how many people have shown up just to work there and then just quit.
If they have to put that in the job application, or you just here for the Batman hat.
They're like, all right, are you just here for the Batman hat? Otherwise, it's like, fine, $30. $30, fine.
The most I pay for it is like $18, $20. It's probably the most I'll pay.
Because they're like, we ain't gonna scam Little Caesars.
Goddamn scalpers.
Yeah, I mean they already scam people enough selling people what they think is quote unquote pizza. That shit ain't pizza.
Yeah. Check out Report of the Week. You'll hear his opinions on Little Caesars recently.
Yeah. I mean it says in the tagline, it's hot and ready. Then it doesn't say anything about delicious or what I mean.
Good?
Amazing.
It's hot. It's hot, ready, and it costs like $10.
Yeah.
They did the bare minimum, all right? They promised what they said.
It's hot and ready. Usually most restaurants will gush
it's hot,
about
ready, and it's hot, ready, and it's cheap.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Most restaurants, they'll gush about like, oh, we have the freshest ingredients and we got the most awesome sauce and everything like that. It's like Subway, it's like eat fresh and oh my God, we're so good for you. And then Little Caesars just like, we're just hot and ready. That's it.
Oh man, come on, what you want?
Yeah,
from us?
Little Caesars is like the Waffle House of pizza chains.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
it's like this stuff isn't good, but it's hot, ready, and it's cheap.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do with the content that Sony acquired when they have Bungie. We'll see, how does this influence the console wars going on. I gotta admit, with the acquisition of Xbox, Microsoft, they did with Activision, it did kind of make me want to maybe consider getting an Xbox. I already have a PS5 right now. But I'm probably not going to pull the trigger on that. But it was like, maybe, you know what I mean? Depending on what type of content they have on there. It's like, maybe. And then plus the Game Pass is such a huge thing, too, that a lot of people do with
pull the trigger on the PC.
Maybe. I don't know. Chase has a PC. I don't want to be like Chase. But Chase was a former co-host of the show. He's there. I talk to him from time to time. He has a PC. I don't want to be PC nigga like Chase. But everything like that. Park Film says, what does he say here? I've never been a big Little Caesars guy, but that Batman
looks like high school plastic pizza.
because but that Batman calzone though I'm mixed on it. It looks delectable on the site, but in reality it might look like a high school plastic piece. Yeah, like when you have food on the site, you know what I mean. It's like McDonald's, like they have their fries, and it always looks real nice and shiny, and it's got the salt coming down. They make their fries look sexy. Then when you go there, the fries are limp, cold.
You got them. You eat them in like 5 minutes. Otherwise, it's gonna be soggy, limp mess.
Yeah. So yeah. So it looks good. It looks cheesy on the commercial. Somebody takes the pizza, pull it apart, it looks all cheesy, but then if you get it, it's cardboard. You get it, they ain't no sauce, no cheese, no nothing. So yeah. So that probably just wait for the commercial. But yeah, I don't know. I might just want to try the pizza. I might try the pizza, eat it while I'm on stream. I don't know. I don't understand why that's such a big thing. Why people like people seeing people eat. I don't know what the fuck is that. But it's
marketing.
Yeah,
do it for the gram. Do it for the TikTok.
Yeah, I guess that's just something I just don't understand.
And man,
hey, you know where food and advertisements looks exactly like it does Japan.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't watch it like. I don't know. When I was in Japan and saw a lot of TV, I don't know, the commercials. I didn't know if I was watching a commercial or a TV show. I was always confused. I didn't know what I was watching either one, honestly.
Sometimes both.
They go wild with their... Sometimes it is both.
Sometimes it really is both.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I guess this is a TV show. I guess this is a commercial. Yeah, I'm sitting here just watching it.
But it has to be bright and vibrant because the everyday life in Japan is cold and gray. Silent.
Oh no!
And mostly in a very cramped apartment.
A little bit now.
Yeah.
And I don't say that from personal experience. Oh no, definitely
not. So we're gonna be getting out of here. Tomorrow we're gonna be back. I see Moonfall, so let's see. Probably we're gonna do a show like maybe 9-10 p.m.
Okay.
Tomorrow, because if I have time to see that, we'll do it. So I'll let people know. I'll post it on Instagram at the Afternoon Tune, and Twitter Afternoon Tune. You can go check us out, look for updates on the shows, everything like that. So tomorrow we're going to be doing Yellow Jackets, which is the Showtime show. Excited to talk about that, man. I had a lot of fun watching it.
New sensation sweeping the nation. Time.
It's like a new Gossip Girls.
No.
It's more like Lord of the Flies.
It's Lord of the Flies plus Lost plus Alive, basically.
Man.
Yeah, so it's kind of all three of those guys. Park Film says, it was nice to catch you guys, always supporting fellow Twitch streamers. See y'all next time. Hey, thank you for coming by there, Park.
Yeah, what's going on?
He's a filmmaker, by the way. Puts his films in festivals, has won awards, things like that. He's very popular guy, makes great films, everything like that. I've been wanting him to come on the show, maybe do an interview with him sometime, interview him about his films. Things like that. I'd love to have him on. But yeah, Yellow Jackets. I'm excited to talk about that tomorrow. Have a good night, man. But yeah, excited to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about the woman across the street, next to the house. Across, over the moon.
The Kristen Bell Lifetime thriller parody movie show.
Yeah, that's on Netflix. We're going to be discussing that. So that looks kind of. I'm hearing good things. I hear it's pretty funny, good parody of kind of those things. I'd be interested just after, especially seeing Amy Adams when she was in that movie on Netflix too. It's because like Netflix is roasting its own movie that they put out.
Yeah. With Amy Adams. Oh, you mean Amy Adams just desperately please get me a new agent?
Yeah, basically. Because none of these Netflix movies have been in her favor.
Netflix has not been kind to Amy Adams. She did fucking Hillbilly Elegy and The Woman in the Window back to back.
Yeah,
she tried so hard
and got so far.
In the end, it didn't even matter.
We're also going to be discussing, like I said, if I can see Moonfall, I'll try to check that out there. But Dusk, have you seen Yellow Jackets?
I have not. I didn't know we were going to talk about it.
Dude, show, it's a trip.
All right, if we're going to talk about it, I'll definitely check it out. I'm also going to check out Moon Crash. Like that. If we don't talk about that, if you guys don't talk about that tomorrow,
fucking Roland Emmerich shitting on the MCU to make people give a shit about his movie.
Yeah. Yes, but if you don't talk about it tomorrow, I will definitely talk about it Friday next
Yeah.
Friday.
Well, you gonna be here tomorrow or?
No, I said if you don't.
Oh, if I don't, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. You can come back here Friday and talk about it. Give your thoughts on Yellow Jackets too, if you want. If you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. But we're gonna be discussing it, giving a full review of that. Yeah, and also next week Friday we're gonna be doing Death of the Nile. That's coming out next week, so I'm gonna be watching that and doing that.
Barrow.
There we go.
Don't worry,
There.
we'll have reviews, we'll have commentary, and enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Yeah, to fill the Nile. And then Jesus Christ, like I was like, hey, you want to, you know what I mean? Maybe it's like, hey, listen, if you don't get this line right, we're gonna bring Joss Whedon back in here. If that's what you want me to bring Joss Whedon on set. That's what you want. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that. Kenneth Branagh back as Hercule Poirot. There, and also, did you see that set photo of Knives Out too? They're gonna be on a cruise too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a huge like multi-million-dollar deal with Ryan Johnson. It's like his next 3 projects are going to be coming to Netflix, I think.
Okay, awesome. I love Ryan Johnson. Yeah, I love Mr. Ryan
as
Johnson.
well.
All right, so let me play the outro here, people. Had a great show. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Dusk, for coming by.
Thank you.
Nick, where can
no
people
problem.
find? Oh, what do you say?
All right, you can find me Twitter, Instagram at night.
Dusk, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And you can find the Afternoon Tune, everything on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all Afternoon Tune. We're also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Afternoon Tune. Follow us there. We stream every Friday, Saturday, usually at 8:30 or 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hey, you also check us out on YouTube, youtube.com, Afternoon Tune. Just type us in there. You'll find us doing reviews, clips, everything like that. All our content there. Just check us out there. And subscribe, like, comment, do all the good stuff. Hey, we're also wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. If you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a good 5-star review. Helps boost us up, helps shows in the good old algorithm there over Apple Podcasts. So we're doing that. All right, so let me just go find somebody to raid real quick. If you all have any suggestions of who to raid, I'm open to hear it. But gonna find somebody to raid real quick. I'll do this person. TTV Awesomilicious. I'm gonna do her. She's really good. Like her content a lot. She's playing Valorant right now. Have you guys ever played Valorant?
I have not. I've kind of been out of the loop with games.
It's a Riot-based game. Same people who make League. Valorant is a fine enough first-person shooter, but its skin economy is fucking atrocious. Like $40 for shiny blue skin. No, thank you. $80 for a dragon skin. No, thank you.
Also, thanks Javon Good. Thank you Park Films. Thank you Cal. Thank you Claire. Yeah, thank you all for showing up. Thank you Kristen for coming by as well. Thank you all guys for showing up. Javon Good. Thank you for the 80 bits, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciate you showing up. Much love to everybody that showed up, everybody that came out and watched us. So I'm going to be rating her, and we're going to be getting out of here, people. Thank you very much. And to all you people out there, don't forget to stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right. There we go. She is rated. There we go.